intellectual property, another, more things for me to consume like an animal, more things to distribute. This is the new thing.
Wow.
It's pretty cool, huh? Except for, what about all the things that weren't in it? Where is the girl? Where is the other robot that everyone likes? This 1 minute trailer didn't show all those things, therefore they're not in there. That is my analysis. Obviously, the FemC and the answer weren't shown in this 1 minute leak trailer. Oh my gosh, that must mean it's not in the game. Whether it will or won't be is a total speculation, but I think people being so like, it's not in the game. Oh my god, I'm not buying. It's not in the game. It's like, come on, man. It's like a 1 minute trailer. The game like, comes out like next year. Just I don't hold off a little bit. I feel like like maybe if they make a confirmation that those things won't be in there, then you can throw a fit. But like, it's just like, I mean, come on, just be a little bit charitable. I feel like, but some things that we can analyze is wow, UI not as good in some spots, but then good in some other spots. I mean, look at this one. Why isn't it a gun no more? Why is it just kind of boring? And some people are like over exaggerating with the UI. Like, yeah, the battle UI is like a little bit more boring now because there's no like cohesion and sort of what they were going for. In the original Persona 3, it was supposed to be like a gun barrel, and the whole thing was supposed to be reminiscent of like guns and stuff. And while not being the most user friendly, it was cool aesthetically, and it's very clear that they're trying to make it along the lines of Persona 5 in terms of like making it more efficient. Aesthetically, it's pretty different, although there are similarities between the sort of techniques and things. It's still very Persona 3, I would say, especially with the little funny moon silhouette, which is a nice touch. But there's just not really a cohesion toward the battle menu. Uh, the menu is pretty cool though. I saw some people complain. It's like, oh, why did they put water? Water wasn't in the original Persona 3. Why did they choose a new theming device? I mean, water. Come on. What's next? Fire? I don't. It's but water actually makes sense. Not only because, oh my gosh, lol, blue is water, lol, and also it taking place in a portside city, but also because like water, symbolically represents life and shit like that. Also, what's interesting is that he's going into the water. And as I've said, water is symbolic of life. And what else does the protagonist go into? That's right, Nyx. Ooh, is this referencing Nyx? And you might be thinking, wait a minute, Nyx representing life, but Nyx is death. But actually, Nyx is both because as much as Persona 3 is about death, it is also about life. And also like Nyx being a mother deity, and in the Persona lore, being like the main reason life is the way it is right now. And also in real life, all organisms that we know of coming from the oceans and shit. Uh, the water representing Nyx makes a lot of sense, I think. And I think him going into the water is a neat bit of symbolism. And actually, it's cool actually that they're expanding on some symbology in the Persona 3 remake. And if you complain, then go home. Of course, there's still the possibility that it'll pull a Final Fantasy VII remake and change the story. In fact, we do see a little bit of changes uh, with the localization, but it's mostly like the same. But an actual change is that they seem to be adding like a little cooking event with Yukari. Whether or not that's Yukari specific or it'll be with the other party members is up in the air, obviously. But there do seem to be adding little events. One thing that I wish they would add is like mini games. Like I think it'd be great if they did like a Yakuza kind of thing where you could like do like a rhythm game in the karaoke. Stuff like that I think would be really neat. And like a fishing mini game. It was in 4 and 5, but there's no fishing mini game in 3. They need to make it consistent, or else I'll cry. Another note of things changing is specifically Junpei and Aigis' voice actors, because they're kind of did some no good, not very good things. Atlas is pretty keen on replacing voice actors or actresses, so maybe this game does seem to be like a practice run for the new Persona team that they established, so they can get like a little bit more experience. As we can see by the fact that the portrait art does not look like it's done by Sojima. Obviously, there are some similarities between the art styles, but it doesn't look like stuff he's done. I could be wrong though. Uh, but even so, I don't think that they would do like sort of a Final Fantasy VII remake kind of thing where they change the whole thing. At most, I just imagine like some little changes here and there. The most Atlas has ever done in terms of changing like the original story is like Akechi with his social link, uh, which is still like a fairly major part, but you know, it's not like the whole narrative. So I'd imagine little changes here and there, but like I don't think the major plot points of Persona 3 will be changed. I could be wrong though. I don't know. Who knows? I kind of hope they don't. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a fucking an Atlas man. I'm not an Atlas. I'm just a guy doing spurious speculation based on nothing. But that I'm not so keen on is the fact that it seems like they're not going to do cutscenes based on the trip. Now, of course, this game's still in production. It's like gonna come out next year. So they could add them in, but at least from what we've seen in the game, they are definitely using some, or they definitely are replacing some cutscenes with just in-game engine stuff, like as we see in the opening of the trailer. Which I actually think that opening in the trailer is good, but the Persona 3 cutscenes, a lot of them are pretty really cool, and they do like a lot of cool artistry and shit in them. A lot of cool little visual effects that I don't think would be able to be replicated as well in 3D. But I don't if they look as good as they do with the Aegis at least, then I won't be too sad. But there's so many cool shots and shit that I don't think would look as good, or even could necessarily be recreated in the in-game engine. But who knows? Maybe they will be in the game because it's not out yet. Some of the lighting looks kind of not so great. Now, of course, this game's not out yet. There's definitely time for it to improve, but there is a weird flatness to some of the shots and some of the locales. But I don't know. I think they'll probably fix that. I think it'll probably be better. I don't think it's unlikely that this is not the final version, especially since this game is going to come out next year. In fact, here's some examples of games looking different from trailers and then release. Wow, amazing. Could perhaps that be in Persona 3 Remake? I don't know. Uh, they should make that UI a little bit better though in the battle menu, am I right? And eagle-eyed viewers can see that there's still a ridiculous amount of Tartarus floors. I'd imagine like to make it better, they'd probably add stuff like what they did with Mementos and Royal. You know, I'd imagine Igor Elizabeth, probably Elizabeth, will give you like an extra section that's basically just what Jose did, but she takes that role also. Or maybe they'll add another character that'll be bad, and then everyone will be like, "Why'd they do that?" And yeah. Also, very important is the fact that you can still do tactic commands. It looks like you're able to control your party members, but the option to do tactics is still there. Hopefully the AI is actually good because that's the way I'm gonna play Persona 3 because I am epic and it is the most authentic way to do it. Also, anyone who thinks this is going to be an Xbox exclusive, you are the king of fools or queen. Because this is like obviously a leak for the Xbox presentation, and there's no way in hell this is like an Xbox exclusive. Like that would be actually crazy. I'm sure this is like multi-plat. Like there's like no way that this is.